Today, we'll be talking about the political crisis. This is the continuation of the political crisis in Nigeria, of continuing from where I stopped. Now, the political crisis we're talking about here, we talked about when Babangida took over. Babangida took over in 1985. When Babangida took over in the year 1985, Babangida administration, which also have its own achievement and its own lacuna. There was also a lacuna on that particular administration, actually. It also caused a lot of instability, economic instability, political instability, stagnancy in terms of our democratic process as well. In that particular administration, that particular government, that particular military government resort majorly to borrowing, which led to the collapse of our economy. Nigerian government were borrowing. They were borrowing from international banks from different countries. And don't forget the fact that when you borrow, one of the criteria is this: when you nation decide to borrow, when you depend on borrowing, one of the criteria they may likely give to you is that you must depreciate, you must devalue your own currency. So this is part of what led to the collapse of our economy, because the government was borrowing, and majority of the money that were being borrowed were being embezzled. They were little to show for it. Although that particular administration did a lot of construction, majorly in the northern parts and some in the southern part of Nigeria. But vast majority of the money that were borrowed were embezzled. At that particular period, we heard about the 12 billion naira that was borrowed. Today, we are still looking for the 2 billion naira. That money has no traces today. Many of the billions of dollars that were borrowed from other countries and from World Bank, IMF, had no record. There were no record of how those money were spent. So that this particular economic crisis, a lot of persons were also complaining about it. And as at that during this particular period, Babangida administration, Babangida was trying to use, is the first military government that declared himself a he was the first person that declared himself a military president, because it was trying to use part of democratic system, saying using agbada on a khaki. It was using part of the legislative process. And don't forget the fact that under a military system of government, they make use of what you call decree, not because the constitution is always suspended. And that is part of the crisis in the democratic system, because democracy will be suspended, democratic process will be suspended. So you only obey before you complain. So under that particular military system, there will be denial of human rights. People's right to be denied, people's voice will be silenced, there will be less development, there will be low human capital intensive development, because the system will be, because people will be captured, the heart of people, both their rights are being captured by the military system. So there were complaints here and there, there were crises here and there. So this particular system led to the yearning of Nigerians, the pressure from Nigerians led to what Babangida concluded by saying, okay, he's going to allow Nigerians to vote, he's going to conduct election. It was there between 1985 and 1993. So in 1991, they started the organization of election that will be conducted in 1993. This election, they organized an electoral system. This electoral system was organized, which was referred to as NEC, National Electoral Commission. Organized, and the chairman was appointed. That was Professor Okunbo as at that particular period to head the 1993 election organized. But as at that particular period, Babangida, who was also the head of state, was also nursing the ambition of contesting for president, despite the fact that he was a military head of state. This was part of the logic, or this was part of the gimmicks some Nigerians who were closer to him understand. And it was causing a lot of tension, because people felt that it wasn't sincere enough about the electoral process as at that particular period. So in 1993, a lot of political parties actually show interest to contest in that particular election. MK Abiola came on board, Babagana Kingibe came on board, Theophilus Babagana came on board. MK Moshood Abiola came on board. But this part, a lot of political parties came on board. So the election was conducted. That particular election, mostly under MK Abiola referred to his own campaign as Hope 1993. So this election was conducted. Babagana Kingibe conducted, like I said, and some other political heavyweights also contested in that particular election. MK Abiola was loved by Nigerians, both young and old, both Christian and Muslim. In fact, in the northern persons actually voted for him in the northern part of Nigeria. He's a Yoruba man. He contested, and he contested under SDP, Social Democratic Party, SDP, Social Democratic Party, and it was believed that the election was won by MK Abiola. But because Babangida, it was a well-known fact that MK Abiola, it was believed that MK Abiola sponsored majority of a successive coup in Nigeria, a civilian. But because MK Abiola, as at that particular period, was simply rich, was actually believed to be the richest black man in Africa, as at that particular period. He has a lot of businesses. As at that particular period, we have a MK Abiola Babes, which was football. MK Abiola Concord Airways, Concord Airlines. He has a lot of business, a lot of factories and all of that, both in Nigeria and outside the country. So he had a lot of money. So they believe that he was actually using a lot of money to finance successive coup. So Babangida was not happy actually, which Babangida happens to be his friend, but because they actually know the secret of each other. So that election, like I said, that election was won by MK Abiola. But the election was toppled. But the election was cancelled. It was annulled in the same 1993. When Babangida annulled this particular election, there were a lot of crises. The Westerners were agitating. They were agitated. The political system was not stable enough. And there were pandemonium from the east to the west to the north. People were saying they don't want military government anymore, that the civilian government should take over so that fundamental human rights can actually be upheld as at that particular period. Babangida was under a serious tension. He had a lot of meeting with both the traditional rulers from the southern part of Nigeria and the western part of Nigeria and the eastern part of Nigeria. At the end of the day, although in his book, in some of his interview with media, he said he was under pressure. Under pressure, he said he was under pressure. But at the end of the day, MK Abiola was a Yoruba man. He is a Yoruba man. He now handed over to another Yoruba man called Ernest Shonekon in the same year. But that particular system, that particular government is not a democratic system. It was called, it's not a military system. It was called an interim government in the same year, 1993. So Ernest Shonekon was a Yoruba man. He is a Yoruba man as well. So, but that particular government only lasted for about 3 months. That particular government was not that stable, but just to calm the people. That was why he actually handed over to another government, but this time not a military government. So within this particular period, Ernest Shonekon was there, but it was an interim government, just a period. It was there for a fleeting period. But Abacha, which was the head of the Supreme Military Council, took over from him through a military through coup. In the same 1993, Abacha took over from him. Abacha was there Abacha became the head of state in Nigeria in 1993, from 1993 to 1998, when he died. Some person said he actually ate what's it called? Apple. Me, I don't know about that, but I will tell you what I know. So it was there. The administration of Abacha had a lot of crises. We had a crisis of the Ogoni crisis, the cleanup of Ogoni. A lot of persons were agitating from Ogoni land. The likes of King Saruwiwa and other Ogoni, 7 other Ogoni members, they were agitating that crude oil were being extracted from our land. And you people are not giving us anything. And apart from the fact that you people are not giving us anything, this particular place is messed up. The people who are into fishing, they can't fish anymore. The land is not good for cultivation because they were all spillage everywhere. They were agitating. And the agitation was actually loud and clear. Because of this agitation, because of this agitation, Abacha actually picked them up, arrested them, and during this particular crisis, Abacha made a proclamation that they would be killed. They were actually put in prison. They were in prison. A lot of leaders all over the world. In fact, I could remember the United Nations Secretary General came to Nigeria. The bishop, the Pope John Paul came to Nigeria. They were appealing to Abacha. The United Nations were appealing to Abacha. The American government were appealing to Abacha. All over the world, they were appealing to Abacha. Release these people. Don't kill them. All over the world. Because of that, Abacha suspended himself from attending some international organization and decided to start attending some Islamic organization outside the country because eventually he killed Ken Saru and some other Ogoni member in 1996. This caused a lot of a political crisis in the Niger Delta, which actually metamorphosized into what we call militancy in the southern part of Nigeria. If not for Yaradua, President Musa Yaradua, who actually gave them amnesty because when these Ogoni members were killed, these guys who were agitating for the welfareism of Ogoni members, a lot of persons were angry in the southern part of Nigeria. At the end of the day, Abacha died in 1998. When Abacha died in 1998, Absalam Abubakar, Major General Absalam Abubakar took over. When Absalam Abubakar took over, because of the crisis was much, and he said, okay, he wants to stabilize the government this time, and he promised to hand over to a democratically elected president. So NEC was the one that conducted the election of 1999, but this time around, he now includes what we call independent. He now made them independent. That was why we have Independent National Electoral Commission. So Independent National Electoral Commission conducted the election of 1999. And when that election was conducted, some political party actually contested in that election, like PDP and other political party, AD contested in that particular political party, another political party. Obasanjo contested in that political party. Don't forget the fact that Abacha actually imprisoned some political officials and some other military officials who in which he believed will be an antagonist to his own administration. Obasanjo was also imprisoned as at that particular period, but later Obasanjo was released when he died. So when Obasanjo got released, he contested under PDP. He contested alongside with this particular man, which was a former Minister for Finance, Olufalaye Falai, who happens to be the Minister for Finance under Babangida administration. Olufalaye contested alongside with Olusegun Obasanjo, but Olusegun Obasanjo actually won the election. Although he lost out some places in the southwestern part, but in the northern part he was elected, he was voted. So he was declared the winner. So this actually stabilized the system when he was elected in 1999. It stabilized the system, and from 1999 we've had a consistent administration. From 1999, election was conducted in 2003. He was re-elected. In 2007, he left the system after 8 years. Another election was conducted in 2007. From 2007, Yaradua took over in 2007. Umar Musa Yaradua, the former governor of Katsina, he was elected who also happens to be the younger brother to the former vice president, the vice military president under Obasanjo administration in the year 1976-1979 military system. So Yaradua was elected, but because Yaradua fell sick and he died in 2009, when he died, Jonathan took over, and Jonathan was there, and he was re-elected in 2011. the government was successful. In fact, during Jonathan administration, Nigeria was ranked as the fastest economy country in Africa. That was when Okunbo, the current president of the World Bank, then it was the minister and the coordinating minister for economy. Our economy was ranked as the fastest in the one of the fastest in the world and the fastest in Africa under Jonathan administration. Jonathan was there in 2019, he contested in 2019, but because he wants stability, the election was marked with irregularities. The INEC chairman, the INEC commissioner in Kano was burnt. His family, the INEC chairman, INEC commissioner family in Kano, his house was burnt. His family, some of his family were burnt, and in other places there were crises. But because of this crisis, he said his election is not worth the life of Nigerians. So in 2015, he lost the election and he handed over peacefully because he said he wants stability. 2019, Buhari took over in 2019. It was in 2019 we begin to experience an unstable economy. The economy was stable again, just like it was during his military administration. Nigerians were agitating again in 2019 because of sentiment, nepotism, and let's just call it a tribal system. He was actually re-elected again in 2019. Which some people tag it as a tribal system in Nigeria political system because some people felt it's because he's a northerner. Okay, let's the northerner you just use 80 years. Either it's good or not, because they believe that it is a rotational system. It should be a rotational system. In 2019, he was re-elected again. He was re-elected, and in 2023, he left the government and handed over to uh, Tinubu, the one we refer to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yes, so we can actually say from 1999 to 2003 or 2006 now, 2026 now, the system has been consistent. The political system has been running smoothly, and the government has been consistent. There is no crisis. So we'll stop here. In our next class, we'll also continue and also do a new topic in our next class. There will be some questions will be displayed on the screen. Attempt those questions and send your answer to the WhatsApp uh, number on your screen, and we'll take it up from there. In our next class, we'll pick another topic and we can also explain more on this. And after that, we'll pick another topic and we'll also explain more better from there. Thank you for participating in this particular teaching. Thank you and God bless you.